Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos, los chicharrones. Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Le saco el dedo y digo Q. Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Fallo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of East Century Boys, straight out of Hialeah on the Finstock Sports Network. I'm Bobby Finstock, and I'm waiting for, of course, my brother Alex Atiachiska, who's running just a few minutes late, but that's okay. We could get the ball rolling here, and we could start talking. Obviously, we're going to touch on what happened yesterday between the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. What happened? Miami got humbled again in a measuring stick game. I mean, it's been 24 hours. It's been 24 hours. I've had time to kind of digest it a little better. You know, I know a lot of people are talking about the referees, as they should. I mean, the referees were just abysmal. It was horrible. It was terrible. It was obvious. It was one-sided. If the NFL doesn't investigate, people should be bringing in their pitchforks. But what can't be argued at all, and that's not an argument, but what should also be discussed besides the referees was the Dolphins not bringing their A game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I touched it all week before the game about Miami struggling. Their offense, the number one offense in the NFL, the offense that's making history right now, the offense that's putting up historic numbers better than the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf. That offense is amazing against every other defense except for top 10. They struggled against the Patriots. They struggled against the Buffalo Bills, and they've struggled against the Philadelphia Eagles. And unknown to the people don't get it, we should be prepared that we face, again, the Patriots, who are top 10 in the NFL, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also top 10 in the NFL in defense. So there was a lot of things besides the referees. You take the referees out of the equation, which is tough to do in yesterday's game. Miami has a lot to work on. And I wanted to touch on that today. And Alex will come in here just shortly. And again, for everybody who's tuning in, we appreciate you. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll get the ball rolling here as Alex is taking his time. I know he coaches and does all that. So it's been a crazy week so far. But again, Dolphins lose 31-17, 5-2 on the season. The Eagles go up to 6-1. Dolphins fall to 5-2. Again, like I said last night on the post-game show, I am not ready to say that the Miami Dolphins are pretenders. That's a little rash right now. I think that's a little forward. Okay. Again, I've said, and I will stick to it. If they do this against the Kansas City Chiefs, if they drop the ball and lose against the Kansas City Chiefs, because we expect them to win next week, the Patriots, no matter how that score turns out, we expect the Dolphins to win that game. But if the Dolphins drop to the Kansas City Chiefs, then we could have that conversation about pretenders and contenders. I'm not ready to say that yet. All right. Let me make sure I pull this up here. Hooked Up Joe, what's up, my man? Thank you for tuning in and commenting. We appreciate you. I think it's the first time I've seen you here, so we appreciate it. Our O-line was so beat up that Cotton, our deep depth player, was in for 90% of the game, or in for the snaps. Our O-line should have been decimated by one of the best D-lines in the NFL, and we held our own. I guess that's the silver lining. Manny, I don't know. He said he was running late, and he is playing Cuban time to the extreme right now, 5 minutes behind. So I'm just waiting on him. More importantly, that's exactly what it is. It's Puerto Rican voodoo. Oh, there he is.
My man.
Oh, there he is. There's the, talk about Cuban time. My goodness.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's all
riding solo?
good. I was just rolling it out, Let me see here. That's better. I don't care. Either one works.
Beautiful.
I noticed. I mean, I don't not want to talk because I'm wearing, I guess you could say, some Dolphin colors. Got Dolphin hat looking colored hat, but it's FTSN. But not wearing any official gear today. I noticed you aren't. But I definitely want to get your reaction to the game. But I was just talking. I want to not first off, Manny's in the comments. I appreciate him. He was on our show last week. I love Manny, one of the best dudes out there. And I was about to say, Manny, if Alex was gonna be delayed, you're more than welcome to hop on, bro. We can talk. We can talk all day. Hooked Up Joe. Look, again, I get what you're saying. Silver lining. However, truth be told, as we continue this conversation, I will get Alex in here. Our offensive line and our defensive line, truth be told, they were bullied last night. Okay, the tush push, all that whatnot. It showed, in my opinion, especially our defensive line. We need to get a stout defensive tackle. We need a true nose tackle to help bully help against those bully offensive lines. Miami got bullied last night. So sure, we could pull the silver lining that it was all, that it wasn't as bad, but yes, sir, it was bad. Anyway, Alex, they should have been, we were down to the second string.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Don't be You're never a backup, brother. He's that cousin you call, hey man, this guy didn't really come with the beer.
Yeah,
come on.
No.
He
was supposed to come.
But Alex, we'll get into the pleasantries in just a second since we're already in the Dolphins talk. My man, just overall, you don't have to go into specifically what we're talking about right now. We'll touch on that in a minute. Your overall reaction to the game. We know the referees, they're on the forefront. That's a lot of talk right now. It was big time on post game last night.
Yeah.
But again, you got, to me, it was more than the referees. Yes, the referees were a problem. But the Dolphins offense against top 10 defenses struggled. I've talked about this before, and they did it again. They only scored 7 points. This history-making offense that's leading in all the statistics that are showing up against top 20, 25 defenses. They threw 40 points here, 70 points there against low-end teams. But then when it comes time for that top 10 defense, Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Patriots, they won. But the Buffalo Bills, Patriots, and now the freaking Eagles, they only score 7 points. They can't get on the board. They struggle. They become one-dimensional. So overall, though, before we get into that, what is your thoughts on the game? How are you feeling 24 hours later?
Well, still partially frustrated. Not because and obviously to get that out of the way, I know we mentioned about the referees, and you just mentioned it. It wasn't all on them. They were part of certain parts of our problems. We had chances on our own.
100%.
I mean, what bothered me the most is the penalties was mostly the timing of when those penalties were called or non-called. To be accurate, it took away a Tyreek Hill touchdown where Austin Jackson was called for a hold when on the other end, Jalen Phillips was held by Lane Johnson, and he still managed to get the sack. So it was the same component. It was the same. I think it was the same hold. It was even from the same side, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And you see the disparity there. So it's upsetting in that forefront that it just cost me 7 points. Also on the opposite end, when our offense was finally starting to roll, where they got Mozart involved, and he was being successful, and he was running for extra yardage after contact, Hill drops a possible touchdown. So that's another 7 points there. So overall, I like the even keelness of Mike McDaniel in regards to, if we win, we're the best team in football. If we lose, we can't beat a good team. And I heard him say that today in his news conference, and it's the perfect resemblance of, I'm not upset. I had us losing against the Eagles when the season started.
As well.
So I had us exactly where we are right now, 5-2. I thought we were going to lose to the Bills, and I thought we were going to lose to the Eagles. I got a little confident after the season started, and I said, we might pull it off against the Bills. But realistically speaking, this is where we should have been. I know now they're going to talk about, they can't beat teams that are successful. When we played the Chargers, everybody was 0-0, and everybody was like, we were going to lose that game. Now the Chargers are 2-4, like, Miami can't beat a quality team. I understand the narrative that's going to be out there. Now, my positive end on this is once he said, I forgot who mentioned it about the second strings, Joe.
Hooked up Joe. Yeah.
And it's not an excuse because injuries. Me on the other side, on the Heat side, Bob, we've always talked about this. There's no excuses. Everybody's going to be hurt
Next
sometimes.
man up.
Next man up.
Yep.
You have the quality now. That's what comes into play where the frustration of it's a second unit, but now when even those second units get hurt, what happens after that? That is when your true depth starts showing. That is when certain holes start showing. So I'm 100% behind the notion of quality depth. And obviously, some of the depth that will come into question. Also, to me, at this point, I don't understand defensively why isn't Brandon Jones playing? Why is it Cam Smith playing? I'm happy. Remember, I told you on Sunday, like my defensive player was David Long Jr. Did you see the way he was playing yesterday? When he was using his speed all over the field. I know he got the concussion; he had to come out of the game. Javon Holland, which was it was a bang bang play. Unfortunately, it happens many times, and it came at the wrong time. Now, I do feel defensively we held our own in certain points, in certain components, in certain parts of the game. So I'm not scared at all because we were a hill drop away. We were a penalty away. We were in this game, 17-17, which was the same situation that happened with Buffalo. So that's why I'm not concerned. It was mistakes that we made. I understand the circumstances. They're on the road. But name me a team, and I'm not using that as an excuse, even the Rams, when the Chiefs, you're going to lose sometimes to good teams. You're not going to go undefeated. And you are supposed to beat the teams that are below you. That's what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
If Miami was struggling against lesser opponents, then I would be concerned. But the fact that you're going against a stellar, and honestly, Bob, to me, what was most impressive was the way Tua was composed throughout. And honestly, that was an underthrow with Mozart. Mozart was being held. I like the way McDaniel was like what seems to be legal contact down the field, where you have. I still think Darius Slay would have made a play on it and possibly picked it off. But I do believe Mozart, if he wasn't held, he would have turned like he was doing to make a play and make it a jump ball. So those are things that here and there that honestly, Bob, when the game was over, I just sat there and I'm like, I can understand being lopsided, right? And I'm not going to make an excuse, but how do you explain a team playing perfect football and having zero penalties in this day and age when you have social media to hold you accountable consistently? How do you justify some of those calls? And I don't care that we lost. We lost. I'll take the L on the chin. I got no problem. Brett makes a good point. Has not proven to win. That's true. I know, and that's part of being a young team. I think that's one of the last humps, and I do believe we will be able to prove it as the season progresses. This is one thing, but we're 5-2. We've beat the teams that we're supposed to beat. We have a defense that's going to be at full strength in probably 2 to 3 weeks after the bye week. So this is when we make the stretch. When they say Miami can't win football games in December and January when they count, this is when that comes. We're a young team, even no matter how young we are right now, and still some inexperience and injury concerns. We should be almost 100% healthy with Terran Armstead, Jalen Ramsey. We should be at full strength in the stretch run. So if we go into how many games we have before the bye week? We play the Chiefs, right, before the bye week?
Yes.
So realistically, we could be 6-3, right, or 7-2. We got 2 games before our bye week, or no? Okay. Worst case scenario, 6-3, because we got New England at home. I think we're going to beat New England soundly. We got Kansas City, which is going to be an entertaining game. And Kansas City, as you see now, they're getting on a roll. Their defense is young, but they're studs, and offensively, they're in sync. It's going to be an understatement, but they reacquiring Hardman is going to open up that offense, and you're going to see it now in the next coming weeks. So I'm not concerned in regards to the long term because we are still a young team. I know our window and the importance that we have, but I do believe as the season progresses, the defense will only get better. I thought Wilkins played pretty decent yesterday. I was happy with the way Jalen Phillips produced. Obviously, Chubb is still your question mark. Agba, I think he played what, like five snaps. How much did Agba play? I didn't even remember seeing Agba yesterday as much.
Yeah, he wasn't there much. Defensively, again, I think they held their own. Again, offensive, defensive line were bullied. The Dolphins' offensive, defensive line were bullied last night. but overall the defense with a banged up secondary
defense, yeah, that's true.
did as best they could. But again, that's the other point I brought up before the game. You go back to pregame and throughout the week. Miami against top 10 defenses offensively struggle. They struggle against top 10 defenses. Doesn't have to be a losing record. Doesn't have to be because the Patriots have a losing record. And you say soundly, but they beat the Patriots 24-17 in the first game they played. I believe it's going to be just like that. I don't see a high-scoring game.
Well, remember, the score was closer than it really was.
It really was. But I expect, again, to be a close game. And Miami needs to be careful against the Patriots because they're going to look like they just came off a win. They're going to be hungry. Miami cannot overlook the Patriots, the Chiefs. Secondary-wise, even without Xavier Howard or with Xavier Howard, they struggle against Stephon Diggs and they struggle against Adam Thielen. They made Adam Thielen look like he was back to the Minnesota Vikings days. He comes in, he looks like that. I said, hey, we got to be careful because that's Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And now we don't have Xavier Howard. And then look what A.J. Brown did. 10 receptions, 130 some odd plus yards, a touchdown. Now, I'm not really worried about Devontae Parker or anything like that. No concern over that whatsoever. Okay, I'm not really. Again, I believe every Dolphin fan should think Miami's going to beat the Patriots.
Absolutely.
Don't overlook the Patriots. Dolphins cannot overlook it. It could be a trap game, just like the Panthers were, possibly. The Chiefs, on the other hand, again, you got a top 10 offense, top 5 offense. You got a top 10 defense.
That's one thing that goes unsaid. Like, if you look at the records, like when Kansas City won a Super Bowl, look at the games that they lost, who they lost to. But I understand, for example, what Bobby and Brett are saying.
See, here's my thing. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with this. Here's my issue with this.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, Scotty. You're going to ask the question. Go back and list all the teams that struggle against top 10 defenses. I'm talking about the Dolphins. I don't care about the Chiefs. I don't care about the St. Louis Rams. I don't care about none of those other. I care about the Miami Dolphins. Are the Dolphins struggling against a top 10 defense in the NFL? Yes, they are. Have they had a good game against a top 10 defense? Tell me that. I'm worried about this football team. Okay? I'm a fan of the Dolphins. That's what I'm trying to talk about. We save players for the KC game. Get back Armstead, Connor X. Yes, I'm with you. That's why, like, for me, Ramsey, Joe, for me, you bring back Jalen Ramsey for the Kansas City game or hold him until after the bye.
That's like Philadelphia. You take out Jason Kelsey.
Connor Williams, I would like to have back. Armstead, hold him until after the bye. X, play next week.
I know it's a
Ramsey.
trend. I know it's a trend, but realistically, Bob, for example, you get the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You remove Jason Kelsey. You remove Lane Johnson. They're going to struggle. Like, that's a given. I mean, their depth might be quality. I'm not want to speak of because I don't know who they have, but I do believe we were in the nick. Honestly, the fact that we only scored 7 points, it takes away from the fact that the Dolphins drove into the 10-15 yard line. The Tyreek Hill touchdown that got called back on offensive penalty. Then we also had the Tyreek Hill touchdown that he dropped as he was going into the end zone. So our offense was driving. Mostert was it this third quarter? Yeah, I think it was the third quarter. Mostert had back-to-back runs of almost 15 yards plus. So I understand they were using misdirection, but our offense was fluid in how our offense always operates. We lost Jalen Waddle for I think for half a quarter or a quarter. He came back. So there were situations where you felt comfortable. You're like, damn, we're driving down the field on an elite defense, playing our style. It wasn't that we were doing anything crazy. We were playing our style of offense. So it just resulted in a touchdown taken away, a drop pass. So it's not an excuse. We have to execute. I'm not using it as an excuse.
No, I got
but it gives me confidence that we can actually do that against the defense of the Eagles caliber. So like I said, you're gonna get healthy. You're gonna get more experience. This team is still relatively young, aside from Tyreek Hill and Armstead. So growing pains.
I want to bring this up, guys. And again, forgive me if I miss any of your comments because it's all good. First off, Cap's in the house. Great to see you, Cap. Scotty, I hear you. Joe and Brett, Connor Williams is out in both losses. Is he that important or coincidence? We shall see. Listen, I've been saying that I remember it was I forgot what game it was. I think it was the Giants. Or no, it was against Buffalo. I think it was Buffalo. But when me and Evan were doing pregame and we saw Williams is out the first time, and I asked, my concern was Williams. Oh, we're going to be fine. Williams will be fine. And no, I think we have seen the impact Williams has had on this offensive line. Our offensive line may have done a lot better yesterday. I think if Williams was there, I know everybody keeps talking about Armstead. Kendall Lamb is not a bad tackle right now.
At all.
Top
At all.
17 out of 40-something on PFF.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
Brett could
And you
correct
see
me.
it. The production shows it.
He's not a bad swing tackle.
At all.
Eichenberg had a very solid game last week. He was horrible yesterday. Horrible. We need Connor Williams back. I think he's more important right now in this offensive line than Armstead is right now. Because my thing is, people go, "Oh, how could you say Armstead's all pro? When is all pro? When is he there?" I'm sorry. Here, can I just say it again? I'm holding that off until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Evan kind of teased that yesterday.
Yeah.
Here's what. Look, that one point I'll stick with that is when you lose your guys, which you're going to lose Armstead, you got Lamb. That's working out.
That's great.
But when your guys go down and you don't have depth or you don't have guys that can make up for that, because you say the Eagles again. I don't have the Eagles roster in front of me.
Yeah,
but
I don't know it. And maybe
when they lose guys, it's next man up. It's like, oh, but we had injured players, and this is the NFL.
Yeah,
it's next. You are professional. You're a professional football team. You're going to lose players each and every week.
But the only thing
your guy has to be ready to go.
That I always tell Brett, for example, is we rely on injury-prone players. Connor Williams is not an injury-prone player, or I'm mistaken. Jalen Ramsey's not an injury-prone player. Armstead is. No. So, I get the part with Armstead, but I think he did just that and got a quality left tackle or swing tackle. Sure. So, I think that's part of doing your job.
But my thing is when now talk, and again, I don't want to get into Greer too much, but I think this right here, what Cap just wrote. I was just going to say that. Yeah, he took the words right out of my mouth. I'm not trying to make this about Greer, but Greer did say before the season, you guys are more worried about this offensive line than we are. Listen,
I also think that's about Austin Jackson, about Connor Williams.
But again, granted, yes, that's about the Dolphins, and we are, Joe. We're going to touch on it on the trade talks, because I do want to talk about possible trades.
Okay.
Listen, that's the point, though, Alex. You and I both. One of our first jobs was Walgreens and retail. What do? You bring the merchandise to the front. It's called front. Go front the store.
Face
the store. Bring everything front. Make it. It could look all pretty. You can make it look like your shelves are stocked.
Yeah.
Okay. You can make it look like, oh man, they don't even, they don't need a truck. Everything's stocked. But then when you move that, you take out that first Chef Boyardee, it's completely empty back there. You have some bootleg Chef Boyardee. That's my thing. Miami, in a lot of sense, is very pretty up front. There's a lot of pretty faces on that team where you go, oh man, hey, Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achen.
Yeah,
Tua.
That's my dog. He's hungry, and my dad's eating, so he wants to go over there.
But my thing is, that's why you need to have reliable players behind you, and they don't have to be major names. They don't have to be guys. But when you come in and they play like they should be playing in JV football, that's a problem. So I'm right with Cap on that. I'd love to know if anybody has in there, Joe, Scotty, Brett, Cap, is there anybody offensive line-wise? Because you have Austin Jackson, you got Kendall Lamb. Trent Brown is possibly available via trade, but do we really need a tackle? I did bring up Garrett Bowles a few weeks back. He's from the Broncos. Again, but you're kind of tied to Terran Armstead until next season or mid-next season, something like that. Center, though, or guard. Let's talk left guard.
Guard is probably your number one concern.
Yeah. Do we get a guard? Because or you get a backup center, so that way, God forbid, Connor goes down again, you have somebody. Because I'm about not fixing what's broken.
Because man, Cotton was horrible yesterday, bro. Oh my God, horrendous.
Scotty's. Well, that's my thing, Scotty. Why wasn't Robert Jones in the game? I'm not smarter than Mike McDaniel.
Those are the things that I don't understand, and maybe even Brett can help me out with this. My question is on defense.
Linebacker, yes, I'm going to bring it up. I got linebacker.
Why is Cam Smith not playing and Eli Apple continues to play? Is it familiarity with the system? Because it can be talent-wise. Eli Apple was decent years ago. Why isn't Brandon Jones one of the best blitzing safeties? And Fangio likes to mix in those safety blitz. Why is he not playing? I don't get that. And is it health concern? Because he seems to be healthy. He's back from his injury.
Yeah, but that's a Vic Fangio call, in my opinion. There's something that I remember, and this is what I said yesterday. First of all, I did bring this up on the show last night.
Uh-huh.
And I do believe, again, the way I don't know, I have this suspicious feeling that this guy's one and done. Fangio is one and done. Yeah, I believe he's a one and done deal. Yeah, I have a suspicion he's one and done. I can't see him being here for the long haul to fix the defense or whatever. And again, if that is the case, all I'm going to say is,
you see, and I get that. Scared of rookies making a mistake, but
that's why I said it's a Fangio call.
Eli Apple gets called on pass interference or on a dumb penalty, and I don't get why. Are we waiting for something?
Yeah, yes. Nicholson is getting more plays than him. But that's my thing. So first off, you go, damn. Then why the hell did we use our first pick on him? If we're not
you had to consult him because you had to consult Fangio on that first pick.
Absolutely.
I thought that was a Fangio pick. Like when that happened, I'm like, that's a Fangio cornerback.
Now to turn it around.
Remember,
a lot of Greer picks minus Hn. You have to wait like 2 or 3 seasons before they show any kind of resemblance of it being a good pick. I mean, so maybe that's the case, but this is not a Channing Tindall situation. It's not a third. This guy should be on the field, especially when you got your 2 top guys out of the lineup. So I don't know. I don't want to. It's not a bust because we got to see him on the field. But you're really questioning that decision right there. You you got the best and worst of Chris Greer in my opinion, in that part. You drafted Cam Smith, who can't find the field, and you drafted Devon Achane. You could go, oh, Greer sucks, man. Look, he drafted Cam Smith, but he did draft Devon Achane. And so
after Cam Smith, when people thought he was going to be gone, which is that's a balls move, man.
But no, my point very quick on the Fangio thing, and Brett and I will touch on this on Fitz Talk Overtime. We may record tomorrow night.
Okay.
After I'm done, and then it'll be a afternoon show on Wednesday, Alex. So we're gonna try to do that.
Cool, man.
Because Brett is dying to talk Dolphins, and so we gotta get overtime,
man. And yeah, no, for sure. And even now, Bob, it's funny. Now when you said recording, once season starts for me in late November, there's gonna be maybe some recordings, and I'll probably be for sure always available at this time. Oh no, because I got some Monday night games that finish like at 9:30. So we might have to get creative with this. But we'll talk. We'll talk in due time.
It'll be fun, man. We got a lot of good possibilities. I'm sorry, Scotty. Let me read Scotty's comment here before Danielle Hunter was a guy I brought up a few weeks back. Absolutely. I'm down with Danielle Hunter. I got a few other names here, Brett. So I'm going to touch on them, and you guys let me know. Scotty says Fangio doesn't have the personnel he needs in offseason. Fangio will be back, and our interior is going to be completely different. I hope you're right. You're right. But remember, Miami was not his first choice. He wanted Philly. He went to Miami because Philly got another guy who I like a lot, Sean Desai. And again, my thing is, and again, it's way ahead, guys. Forgive me for even saying it, but all I'm saying is this: that if that is the case, and Fangio is one and done, which is fine, then McDaniel, all good thing. I'm not going to say because Evan brought up might not be here. Not saying that yet. Not even going to entertain that. Okay. What McDaniel needs to do after this season, win, lose, or draw, if he doesn't have this guy, Jeff Simmons, God, well, oh my goodness, that's crazy. I was going to say Justin Simmons.
For sure.
Jeff Simmons it would be nuts, dude. I would go crazy.
Sounds like a right fielder in baseball.
But I'm going to go down that, but I just want to say this. If that does occur, my opinion, you need a defensive coordinator. Hold on.
The fire still started, Bobby.
Don't spoil it. Hey,
the fire still started.
Let me tell you something, brother. Let me just say this. You need to find a coordinator. If it's not Fangio after the season, you got to find a coordinator for McDaniel who is like his clone on defense. You need to find a young, hungry defensive coordinator who's not gonna say before the season, we don't have the guys yet. Who's gonna say, no, I'm gonna get the best out of these guys. Whether Christian Wilkins is still there, Jerome Baker, whomever, no, I'm gonna get the best out of these guys. Okay. Anyway, all right. Since everybody's talking trade right now, Justin Simmons. Okay, so you're with me. I had Justin Simmons on safety. You're with me. Because the Broncos, I think, could be in play with Miami. Okay, I brought up Garrett Bowles the other day. The other guy I would talk a couple weeks back. Let's talk about possible trades. Alex, if you have any names, please throw them out there. Or if you just want to react, you go right ahead. First off, before I do anything else, how are your parents doing? I hear your dad back there. You didn't have to mute yourself.
Oh no, I was saying something over here at the house. You know, the parents that I'm screaming at, beating my parents.
Yeah.
You said,
Dad, if you don't be quiet, I'll smack your rap.
The meatloaf.
Hey, tell your dad I said hi and that I love him. Send him my love to your parents, okay?
Bobby le manda saludo. Silence. Perfect. Amazing. They're just hard of hearing. You know.
He said F that gringo. That's what he said.
Bobby. Who Bobby?
Who's Bobby? Oh, that guy. So first off, here are some
I
trade names.
I agree with this actually. I really agree. I think this is 100% accurate. I think this. Oh man, the season was going sour, but he might have saved his job. So
First of all, that just tells
now
you
Buffalo,
again,
Bobby, Buffalo. What did I tell you? Remember when I told the beginning of the season? I know this got a little hot, but what did I tell you about McDermott's job in Dorsey? I think Dorsey gets fired before the season is over.
Hey, hold it. I hear you. Okay, so the first possible player, I'm going to talk first off. Let me just start with Derrick Henry since Brett brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
So don't sleep on that. I'm telling you right now. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, dude, Derrick Brown from the Panthers would be a great pickup."
Man,
Scotty, thank you, love it. I appreciate that. Would be a great pickup. But let me just say again, I'm going to say this very quick. Any position for I know people are going to say, "Oh, dude, no, we don't need it. We don't need a receiver. We don't need a corner. We don't need this. We don't need that. We have plenty of receivers. We have plenty of running backs." Blah blah blah. Miami has shown that they don't sleep on any position. If they could have a guy at the right price, they're going to do it. Okay. Look, don't tell me. First of all, we know H.N. is coming back, and I expect him to play exactly the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But look how much he's missed. Don't get me wrong. Raheem is still doing well. Okay. Raheem only had 45 yards to say, but that's because the Dolphins became one-dimensional again. Okay. They just couldn't. The Eagles defense was just stopping the run.
They took away the run.
They took it away, so it became one-dimensional. But that's because you don't have that secondary guy. You don't have that third guy. Shavon Ahmed is not Devon Achane. But imagine, don't think for 1 minute that Miami or Chris Greer won't say, you know what, Raheem, Devon Achane, and you pound that rock with Derrick Henry. I say don't sleep on it. And again, you might say, "Oh, dude, but what pick are we going to give away? What picks are we giving away?" I think his price has dropped, and Tennessee is so desperate to free up Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry. Those guys are all available. I think you possibly get him possibly for a third-round pick, and I wouldn't be against it.
You know where I think he ends up, Bobby? I think he ends up in the Ravens.
That might be a good spot.
I think the Ravens make a move because they're missing. They're missing that running back.
Yeah, I would hate that. Oh, yeah.
And
sure. I just want to say, without getting too deep in it, LOL to Dalvin Cook, who's on the trade block right now. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So Derrick Brown, love that. I know Titans are dumping salary. I'm telling you, Cap. Miami is on a buyer's market. All right, and I'm just saying, do not sleep. I know he is a preseason warrior, and I got all love for Shavon Ahmed, but dude, it's not Devon Achane. Yeah, don't sleep on Derrick Henry. That's all I'm saying. Miami was in on that before the season. They explored that option. I'm sure the price was through the roof. You go back and you say third-round pick and make Tennessee pay part of that contract. Go get him. Vita Vea, I don't know if he's even available, Brett, but I love that name. Saquon Barkley, he says he wants to retire.
Sounds like a porn star.
Vita Vea.
Hello, Vita Vea.
Foxy Locks. Leonard Williams is actually on my list. Defensive lineman, Leonard Williams out of the Giants. I'd be absolutely cool with that. You possibly get him for a third-round pick. I'm not saying trade up for all these guys. I'm saying these are guys that I think Miami should target.
Yeah, possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited for the NFL trade deadline because before, the NFL trade deadline would just come and go. Like, I remember growing up, the biggest trade I ever saw, actually player-to-player, because the NFL doesn't do player-to-player trades. I was even surprised that Philadelphia traded Edmonds to Tennessee, plus the additional picks.
See, that's why Tennessee's dumping salary. They just traded their all-pro safety, Kevin Beard, who I know Titan fans absolutely love. I know they're furious today.
Yeah, but that's – you're tanking. You're tanking for Caleb Williams, bro. You're tanking for Caleb Williams.
Oh, dude.
Or for Marvin Harrison Jr., one of those two.
I say Marvin Harrison Jr. would probably be, but, I don't know. We don't have a third or fourth. Keep that in mind trade-wise.
We don't have a third this year?
You could get any pick. Don't sleep on any pick, especially players. Let me pull up that. Scotty, thank you for saying it, because I would want to look at what we got available.
I think that this is true what Brett is saying. I think Washington's also going to be sellers. Commanders are going to start moving salary, too. And I know they didn't extend Young, so... Cap. I honestly think that's the best landing spot for Henry.
I agree. You
want to do
I
right.
Can see it.
You want to do right by him because he's carried your organization. So you're just not going to move him anywhere. I know the compensation has to be right, but you're not going to pull a Portland on Dame. You're not going to send them anywhere. Oh, which by the way, we got to touch upon that a little bit. Let me see if Bam has until midnight, until 11:59 to sign an extension. Obviously, that's just tagged on as his extension, so we're on the watch. But he'll probably wait until next year because he can sign if he reaches all NBA status and all that, he can get the Supermax. So he'll probably wait on that. I know Giannis signed his, so we'll keep that for later.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to touch on it because I don't know if you saw. We are going to talk. Remember, we're making our predictions tonight. I don't know if you're ready for that.
For which one? For NBA?
NBA, yeah.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Tonight.
Absolutely.
I just tuned in and thought I heard the biggest tree I've ever seen. I thought you were talking about trees. I'm going to leave. Okay. There goes the Puerto Rican voodoo witch that I said on Twitter. Scotty, go make a statement and go get Aaron Donald. That would be a statement.
Man. That would
probably be a first-round pick, but I don't mind that. Now, keep in mind, we're 30 million above the cap next season. But, again, Brett knows this better than most. We can make that work.
Oh, for sure.
We can make that work. Yeah, we lost it in the tampering. We did. For tampering, we lost our 3rd-round pick, and we traded our 4th-round pick in the trade for Bradley Chubb. So Miami has a 1st, a 2nd, a 5th, a 6th, a 7th. I will say this, okay? Yeah, that's right, Scotty. Thank you. 5 moves put us under 20 million. I will say that I want to ask this to Brett, Scotty, Cap, Alex, Christian Wilkins right now. He wants over 20. I say 15 to 18. But if Miami does not get a deal done before this deadline, as it's getting closer to the deadline, to me, if you don't sign him to that extension before the deadline, you move him before the deadline. Do not lose him for nothing. You're not going to pay him, and you know you're not going to pay him. You trade him.
If you're not close, you move him because you can't just lose him.
No, you can't. Don't get sick of him.
You can't. Like exactly. Get something for him. But I mean, I love Christian Wilkins, and I love even more the personality. He fits everything Miami is. So it'll be hurtful to see him go. But if the price isn't right, I mean, you know where the mindset where I come from. If the price is not right for both, you shouldn't have to overpay and then dig yourself into a deeper hole. So you make your offer. If you're $1 million off, you can find the common ground. You know, Miami has no states tax. Depending on the other teams he might be willing to go to, you can make it work financially. If you can't come to an agreement, you got to move him.
Again, he would be a huge loss for sure because not just on the field but off the field, his personality, he's loved. We all love him. I completely dropped my offer for Wilkins. I am definitely open to moving him. We're going to be guaranteed a comp pick. Absolutely. I think you move him. I like what Brett says. You re-sign Raquan Davis for cheap and solid depth.
Absolutely.
And you go and draft or sign a solid nose tackle to round that out. I'm 100%. Absolutely down with that. Another player that I have on here is 2 more on my list, and besides what everybody else is saying. Again, I talked about Danielle Hunter. I've talked about Chase Young before. But another player I would say what we always a position, and Kat brought that up earlier, was linebacker. I say Josie Joel, linebacker for the Denver Broncos. Probably have him for like a 4th or 5th round pick, who's probably familiar. I don't know if he played with Fangio. Brett would know better. I think he did. Or Devin Bush from, I think he's on Pittsburgh right now.
I like Devin Bush. So
those are 2 guys I believe Miami should target at linebacker. They need help at linebacker. And then the other one for me is Zach Ertz, tight end, Arizona Cardinals. You probably get him for a very late, you probably 6th round pick. I know.
I still think they're gonna play Claypool at tight end, bro. I really do.
Maybe.
He played yesterday. He played a few snaps yesterday. I was like in a running situation.
Josie Jewell's best years were under Fangio. So to me, you get Josie Jewell, put him alongside Jerome Baker and get Van Ginkel and company, and you hope for the best. Are there any affordable young corners and safeties that you guys think we could trade for?
I think we're fine in that regard.
So Jordan Hicks is another one for sure. Anthony, first off, thank you for always watching. Anthony, Justin Simmons, safety from Denver, is one guy I'd look at. Corner, I'm not sure. I think there's a possible. Again, like Alex said, yes, we should be good on that point once these guys come back. But I will say, do not sleep on any position for this football team, because you think we'd be good, but for whatever reason, Cam Smith cannot find a field, and Nicholson is on the field more than him. It just does not make sense. So do not sleep on the
What's up, Ralphie?
on that position. Ralphie boy. Hey, Alex, Bobby, what's up, guys? What's happening?
Look,
Fans,
Brett-
cap for life. Get
Brent makes
pasta,
a
brother.
good point right there. Van Ginkel. I think your priority should, in regards, for example, if you're in a room
I
with
love
Wilkins
Van
and Van
Ginkel.
Ginkel, I think you gotta find a way to extend Van Ginkel before you extend Wilkins.
Hey, did we make sure the refs got their paycheck from the last game?
Bob, hey, I know we're not gonna tell me, please. And you saw with the stories that were coming out today. Like this ref, he's been suspended before in college, and he's from the area. So I'm like, how don't they do the background checks here?
You know, like I said, it wasn't like the Eagles played a clean game. It's like not like they played some kind of clean game all of a sudden and everything else. This was a one-sided affair.
100%.
It was absolutely
100%.
horrible. And again, if the NFL does not do something about it, there's a problem. But what I'm saying
is there something in the NFL like in the NBA, the 2-minute report, or no?
Yeah, they do. They come back and say, "Oh, this team should have been fouled for this, or they missed the penalty here." Yeah, they do that.
Okay.
I just want to say very quick. The reason why, again, what I'm saying, I'm not taking anything away from that. What I'm talking about is what happened on the field. Okay, I'm talking about the way they played against the top 10 defense, and how they played against top 10 defenses, how they play against star receivers, getting bullied on the offensive defensive side of the offensive line, defensive line. That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot. Again, you only scored 7 points.
Your mom, I said. And the problem is you can't defend that because a defensive player cannot be used to push the defense like the way they can offensively. So that play is indefensible. It's just the Eagles have mastered it. You can't. There's nothing you can do to match it. You just have to hit it. The problem is there was one time. Did you see Javon Holland jump in an angle to try to hit him as they were doing the progression? But it's impossible because you have someone that weighs like 230, solid muscle, being pushed by 3 or 4 people with all their force leaning into it, and you're defending it with one person or a set of people that cannot be pushed to create more force. That's why that play is indefensible. And they're obviously going to look into it, and they're probably going to ban it. You know what? I don't like to take away the fun of teams and what you do well, but I do believe in that play. If you're going to maintain it and it's going to be a legal play, I believe the defense should be allowed to use another defender to create extra force into that because it's impossible. It's lopsided. You can't have one team playing with one set of rules offensively, and then the defense that is supposed to contain that cannot use the same force that you use. That is the part to me that you have to fix that lopsidedness. If you want to keep it, fine, but let the defense also push.
Yeah, Ralph says someone is going to get hurt, Alex. And,
it's true.
And Scotty
and
says the same thing. We got to take it real seriously to stop that.
Yeah. It's going to be Kelsey, man. It's like
my thing is how you say how can we stop it, or how can anybody stop the tush push? And just talk about obviously they could say, hey, let's cut it out. I would say absolutely you can do that. Obviously you can still do a quarterback sneak without doing a tush push.
Of course,
but maybe Brett will understand this. Harrison would.
True.
Harrison
glove blocks are dangerous. A torpedo into the defensive legs. You see, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
You can't explain it to me. It makes no sense whatsoever.
For me, I would just do my best to
torpedo into the defense.
For Harrison and I both played defensive line. High school, obviously for me, Harrison, community ball. I know Brett is familiar, but for me, what I would do, my thing as I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball, is when they call height, try to smack that ball out. Do your best to smack the ball out. Don't stop the guy, smack the ball out. It's a pile already, smack the ball out. That's the best defense I think you could do for that right now.
Yeah,
when the Dolphins face them in the Super Bowl, the Dolphins need to be ready for it. The Dolphins will face them again, possibly in the Super Bowl, and they need to be ready for it.
Can you imagine the Super Bowl is decided, Bob, on that play? Can you imagine? There's 2 seconds left on the clock. They're at the 1 yard line, and the Super Bowl ends on that play. How do you explain that?
So let me just read Anthony's. If the NFL ban, first off, this is 23423, and this is what I said last night. We can't. We can't stop the play. We can't stop the play. Well, the teams need to figure out how to stop it. That's how I am. Until they stop, they cut it. Then stop. What's up, Duke?
What's up, Duke?
Duke.
Yeah, remember.
But my thing is, if the NFL bans the tush push, then the NFL needs to ban the 2-0 deep ball to Tyreek. Okay.
Oh,
Anthony,
but come on, man.
the NFL said during the game, multiple linebackers on other teams have complained about the brotherly push, the tush push play that the Eagles do, causing their middle linebacker injuries.
Absolutely,
I did
man.
not see that.
Absolutely.
So
Is that Bob? At a given point, you have over a ton going at the defense. Like, you have those linemen, each of them are 300 plus. You have Jalen Hurts at 240. Like, that's a lot of force going into someone falls the wrong way. You can dislocate a shoulder. You can tear your ACL. There's anything that can happen there, bro.
Absolutely. I wanted defensive line just to drop when the ball is snapped, let the O-line fall forward, and then have absolutely. See, Scotty's thinking the way I'm talking.
That is perfect, bro.
Let's stop saying, "Oh, ban it." No, let's figure out a way to stop it.
Back up.
I love that, Scotty.
Back up and just go out.
Let them fall forward and then get that quarterback.
All safety blitz, bro. Just
thank you, Scotty. Scotty's now we're talking some gravy. Now we're talking gravy, Scotty. I love it.
And you know what's funny? Now that we're talking about these plays, Bob, I've always found it hilarious. Intentional grounding, right? You got to be out of the pocket when you're there. A spike. When you spike the ball to stop the clock, that's the original intentional grounding. Like, how do you justify like stopping the clock? Just like, oh, okay. I always like it. When I see it, it's so hilarious to me, is that it's like a little child that doesn't get his way. And he just wants that. I want it now. And just spikes the ball right there. Like Belichick throwing the flag. Like, those are the things that make no sense to me when you explain it. Like,
absolutely.
Hey, no, you got to be out of the pocket to throw the ball on purpose on the ground. You can't do that. But I'm just stopping the clock. Oh, you can throw on the ground.
Let me ask this. And we did touch on that, though, Anthony, the face mask, the blatant face mask on Cedric Wilson. I don't know. We don't know how.
That was comical.
I think the referee explained it that he went temporarily blind for 1 second. He said that all of a sudden he doesn't know what happened, but he just went blind and then his eye vision came back. I think that's the way it was explained. Talking about that, Alex, as we continue this Dolphins talk, and we'll go into NBA in just a second. What would you rather have? What would you rather live without if you had to pick? A nose or no arms?
A nose or no arms?
Yeah, no nose or no arms. If you had to pick one, what would you lose?
Oh, shit. I don't care about the physicality of it, but I couldn't smell anything. But no, obviously, I'm with a nose. I might live without a nose.
Voldemort. Yeah. Just be Voldemort.
Gone, bro. Just flat.
Just two little dots.
Just like I just got punched. That's it. Gone.
Just 2 dots. Gone. That's it.
I can still breathe,
I'm with
right?
you.
I can still breathe.
Yeah, you can still breathe,
because
right?
If I lose my nose, I lose a function, or I just like
no, you
just
still
creates.
Breathe.
It's just a physical no nose, and I can't smell anything.
Can't taste either. Yeah, so I guess but yeah, I guess
okay.
I would say. I mean, because I would hate to be like, and God bless everyone, whatever. Like,
yeah,
hey, can you pick that up for
and
me? High five.
No joking. I was actually thinking about this the other day. Like, people that are born, like, the difference between being born without the ability and losing the ability. Because if you were born without arms, you never understand, or you never feel what it is to have arms. Yeah. When you lose an ability that you have, a sense that you have, for example, then
just trying to keep it fun. You don't got to get deep about it.
No. No, but it's
now you make me feel guilty about asking. Whatever.
Now, can I pick one? Can I lose one arm and half of my nose?
No. Why the hell would you do that?
Well, because I can have the best of both worlds. I just keep my right arm and keep one of my nostrils.
Why your right one?
It's important, bro. It's important, man. I'm a righty. Yeah, I'm a righty. I'm a righty. Can't do the strangers anymore.
That's right. Oh, wait. First off, I don't know why this made me think of that. Forgive me.
Wow.
My wife reminded me. Happy anniversary.
Funny.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I don't know why this. Happy anniversary.
10 beautiful years.
There you go. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, man.
And the missus.
Appreciate it.
Tati goes, did you say congratulations? I was like, no. She said she saw it on Instagram, I think.
Yeah. We had a nice week. It was a hectic weekend because I had a basketball tournament. It was my goddaughter's, my other goddaughter, by the way, Bob, Crystal's daughter. I'm going to be the godfather to her baby too. They asked me the other day, so it was her birthday, her first birthday. So we were organizing it. I have bought a concert for my wife, the Our Radio Latino celebration with her favorite singer. Chayanne was there, which I'm pretty sure Tati will appreciate. And Yandel was there, which I'm sure Tati will appreciate as well. So we had a concert that we arrived an hour and 30 minutes after the concert started. We got there right in time to the good part, but just to put it in perspective, where we woke up at 7:30 that day, and I didn't get back home until like 2:30 or 3:30 in the morning. So I was worthless on Sunday, bro. Nothing, and we had a tournament on Sunday.
So you couldn't
So it was like,
consummate the anniversary. I get it.
no, not at all. Not at all. Make sure we get that in, baby. Yeah.
All right, so we'll keep rolling here. Let's see here.
Can I keep my thumbs?
Can I keep my thumbs? Little stubs.
That's true. And if you think about it, like if you had shorter arms, it's a quicker, like like sometimes being like, I imagine Wembayama. Like, can you imagine Wembayama like eating, or like getting like having cereal, for example? The distance that Wembayama has to take a cereal, and by the time it gets to, like, it's all dripping in his face.
It's soggy cereal. Yeah. Thought about that. I think I'm gonna do that tonight. I think I'm gonna have my Oreo milk.
Oh man, okay. Remember, Bob, when I'm up there,
Yes.
we need to have. We might not be able to do East 10th Street Boys on a Monday, but if we do it like on a Wednesday, we need to have a setup. I'll make sure I'll bring the cereals. We're gonna have a testing, like little bowls, milk, different type of cereals, and we're gonna do a testing live. Speaking, did you heat?
Did the Heat practice today?
Did the Heat? Yeah, the Heat practice today. Season openers on Wednesday.
Random. Thank you. Just kidding. Let's go into NBA talk here. We'll get back to Dolphins.
Yeah.
If anybody has any other trade ideas, you can put in the comments and we'll react to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we know the Heat play on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Who do they play? Game 1?
Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons.
Yep. Young team.
Young team.
They're gonna surprise a lot of people.
Boston right after that, right?
Yeah.
I think Boston.
So I think so. Yeah.
My first prediction of the season is Miami drops it to Piston and beat the Boston Celtics, because that's typical Miami. Beat a team, they lose to a team they're supposed to beat, and they beat a team they're supposed to lose to. But let's do our season predictions, okay? If you're ready, are you ready?
Yeah. You throw away the topic and I'll predict. I got you.
All right, let's go. Okay. From 1 to 10, Eastern Conference, your rankings.
Boston 1. Milwaukee 2.
Okay.
Heat 3.
Okay.
I think Cavs make the jump to 4.
Okay.
Didn't the Cavs finish 4 last year?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I still think they take 4. I do see Philadelphia struggling. So I'm stuck on 5th.
So you don't think Philly's 5th?
I think Philly might drop to 6, depending on. Let me think. To be honest, okay. I got Cleveland 4, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna say Indiana 5th.
Ooh. Okay.
Sixers 6. New York 7.
Okay.
Honestly, bro, I think Orlando sneaks in. I got Brooklyn. You know what? Oh man, I got Brooklyn over. I think Brooklyn might be 8th. Yeah, I'll go with Brooklyn 8th.
Okay.
Because I see a run in Indiana, Bob. I see they have a young.
I'm surprised.
Core.
I mean, I have them here, but
Yeah.
I don't have it obviously that high. But
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear more.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nets at 8.
Oh, then
and
10.
9-10.
10. Toronto's gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make. They're gonna be a playing team, like I mentioned. And I'll give the last
9?
one 9. And I think Orlando. I think Orlando's gonna be actually Orlando 9th, Toronto 10th. I think Atlanta misses the playoffs. I think Washington has a shot, but they're just Jordan Poole's gonna go off. I don't think Chicago's gonna make it. I think Chicago might be sellers at the deadline because they have a solid team, so they might make an 8, 9, 10 run. but I think they're gonna die off. If Levine is missing time for any reason, or Vucevic is missing time, you're gonna start seeing selling. They're gonna be sellers
Got
because
you.
which is insane. It's funny because I know it's because of the time frame. Lonzo Ball last played an NBA game when he was 22. I know this could have been like the day before he turned 23, but he's now 26 years old. Like the people forget the Bulls were playing the best basketball when Lonzo Ball signed with them, and it's incredible how I know that he can attest to this with Bosch and Mourning, but how one injury can change the course of your franchise in a matter of a second. Everything changes.
For sure. All right, so that's the East.
Yeah.
Let's roll to the rest, and then I'll give you both mine after.
Go ahead.
So the Western Conference, 1 to 10.
I got Nuggets number 1,
Okay.
Phoenix number 2,
Okay.
This is the part where it gets interesting.
Yes, it does.
Because I'm torn between Lakers, Kings. Lakers number 3,
Ooh, okay.
Kings 4th. And by the way, the West, I think between 2 to 5 or 6 are going to be maybe 3 games away from each other.
It was hard
3
to
or 4
choose the
games.
West. It's hard to choose the West.
Because then I'm going to go Clippers over Warriors. So I got Clippers 5.
Interesting.
I said Clippers 5, Warriors 6.
Okay.
I got the Mavs. I'm telling you, this is going to be insane, bro.
I'm iffy on the Mavs, dude. I was really struggling with the Mavs.
It could go either way. But they do have a good nucleus. Finally, to play along Luka, they have the right defensive personnel. They have the right shooters. Luka might be more of an off-ball player, so he might be more of a scorer. Watch Kyrie handle more. So they have a nice balance, but it could go haywire if 1 or 2 injuries happen. So that's why I dropped them a little bit.
Gotcha.
Then I see the Pelicans coming strong as long as Zion is healthy, and I do think the Thunder are going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
The Thunder and the Magic, Bob, in the East. They're going to surprise people this year. I really think they have.
Who's number 10 for you?
Who did I say? I got.
You had Golden State 6, Mavs 7, New Orleans 8, Thunder 9.
Thunder 9. And you know what? Another team that's going to improve too. Damn, I got 10 being between the Wolves and the Jazz. I think the Jazz, and people laughed at this, and I said it on Twitter, on X. Keontae George from the Jazz is going to be one of the best all-around NBA players within 2 to 3 years. People don't know who Keontae George is. Find out about Keontae George. Watch some Jazz games. Watch some of his tape. That kid is the real deal. And they might move Colin Sexton. They might move a few pieces where he's going to be able to shine. I'm always intrigued if the Jazz are ever going to move Markkanen, because I would love Markkanen in the Heat.
You brought him up plenty of times.
I love him, bro. I think he's perfect. Now, don't get me wrong. We got Nikola. We got Jaime, which due to injuries, Bob, they might be part of the rotation that started the season, guaranteed. So that's so.
What are your thoughts on Detroit?
Oh, Detroit is young and hungry, man. They have a great point guard. They have great depth. They have great size. So it's just a matter of being healthy. They have a young nucleus, and they have the right coach to develop. So,
all right. So for me, Eastern Conference, we'll get into MVP, D plus defensive player of the year.
Go ahead.
But you and I 1 and 2 right on the money. I think Boston is number 1. Bucks are number 2. I have the Cavaliers as the number 3 seed, or 3rd seed. I have Miami as the 4th seed, so just switching that up.
Just switching that up. Okay.
Yep. I have the 76ers as the 5th seed. I got the Knicks as the 6th seed, followed by the Atlanta Hawks, the Raptors 8, Magic, and then Pacers as 10.
Not bad.
So I mean,
yeah,
kind of
it's
a toss
just
up. They're right there. this.
I had the Hawks missing the playoffs. That was the only difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I think the Hawks, let me,
the Niners just stopped the Kirk Cousins tush push.
Tush push.
Are other teams starting
look
to do this?
It could happen. Anyway, make sure I don't have my marker open here.
Which is underrated. Hurts is the best quarterback to do a tush push with.
He's strong.
He's strong as shit. Have you seen his legs, bro? He looks like a lineman, though.
The not the Viking, excuse me, the Western Conference.
Yeah.
I got the Denver Nuggets number 1, Phoenix number 2. I got Golden State number 3.
Okay.
Chris Paul, I think Golden State, they're still very strong. I got Memphis number 4. I have the Grizzlies number 4. I have the Lakers at 5. Pelicans at 6.
Mm-hmm.
If they can remain healthy, I think they can make some noise this year in the West.
Yep.
Okay. I got the Clippers at 7. Dallas at 8. And I struggled with Dallas. I was looking at Utah. I was looking at Dallas. And it's just, I did put Dallas there because if Kyrie can even play just half the games and in the playoffs, get to the playoffs, they could probably get there. I got Sacramento at 9, and I got OKC at 10.
Damn, that's a big drop for Sacramento.
Yeah, I got Sacramento.
That's a massive drop.
I got them at 9. I think again, the West is going to be a little crazy this season.
That's the case, Bob. In the West, you probably have teams from 3 to 9 that are maybe like 5 games, 4 games. So it's like you're like, oh, he's the 9th seed. Yeah, but he's only 3 games away from being the 3rd seed. Like It's going to be that type of season. There's still
the West was so hard, dude. Like I'm looking at the West, I'm going.
Hey, I said it last year, but the Phoenix Suns, talent-wise, offensively, might be the most predominant team in the West, aside from the Nuggets, obviously. But all those teams are an injury away. Yeah. All those teams are one injury away.
I don't have it on here, any playoff predictions. I'm not going to do that right now.
No. It's
but for me, I will say that no one should say it's a given for Denver to come out of the West. And any team that comes out of the East, the West is going to be a tough out.
They're going to have a tougher time coming out of the West this year, Bob, than they did last year.
Yeah, they are. But again, any team that comes out of the East, it's going to be tough.
Finals prediction.
Yeah, we just said we're going to hold off, and here he comes, 2-3-4-2-3.
Heat are going to be in it for sure. So,
to me, if the Heat get into the playoffs, they're going to be my pick because again, the Heat are a better playoff team than they are a regular season team. And again, if they're the 4th seed or the 3rd seed, they got a very strong chance.
I'm telling you, they're going to come out of the gate. They're going to come out of the gate firing.
The finals, I would love to see 2-3-4-2-3, and this is not my prediction. What I would love to see is Miami facing Golden State. I want to see Miami Heat versus the Golden State Warriors, or the Miami Heat versus the Los Angeles Lakers.
That would be a rematch.
Those are the 2 finals I'd love to see. Okay, that's just me. Alex, is there any particular Heat finals you'd love to see? I don't want to see the Nuggets. I don't want to see Denver.
I'll see Denver. I'll see Denver. I would like for us to compete against the Suns. I do believe
Phoenix
we can defend.
Be fun.
I believe that. This is what I'm telling you. I believe Miami's equipped to defend any team this year. Last year, size we were lacking, and we had a tough time with the Nuggets because of it. Yeah. But I do believe this team is equipped. And to piggyback, I don't know if you got a chance to see some of the Pat Riley comments today in the article confirming certain things with Bradley Beal's trade situation.
I saw that.
People are going to jump off the ship and be like, oh, he's being cheap. It was reported a long time ago that the holdup in Bradley Beal's, it was a no-trade clause. Bradley Beal did not want to remove the no-trade clause. Miami was not going to take on his contract without him removing the no-trade clause. So it wasn't Mickey Harrison being cheap. It was none of that. It came down to the situation where
he said I have to talk to Mickey about it. And
exactly.
And
this was reported. This was reported almost 2 months ago already. And when the trade actually happened, it was like Heat
I was fine with not getting him. I was more bothered by Damian Lillard than I was about Bradley Beal.
And the Damian at the time, we didn't expect obviously Cronin to handle the situation like it happened, like it unfolded. So you pass on Beal to acquire the opportunity for Dame. But one thing that I love about what Pat said, and he attested to this. I know people are making fun of him because of the word he used, the abyss. And people are putting the definition now of what is the abyss. And he did make the statement where this is the 5th year going with this crew. And Pat Riley's teams usually, he gives them a shelf life 5, 6, 7 years, and he makes a move if nothing happens. Um, if you make the jump now, you can argue out of all these builds, you still have your foundation pieces in Hero and Bam. But I wouldn't doubt if this year we fail to win a championship, there will be certain moves made. Not with Bam, obviously not with Jimmy, but then it becomes a reality of where we're gonna move Hero. So this is the last shot this nucleus have. Does he really like his team? Yeah, everybody like, generally that knows basketball likes this team because it has the right depth in the right spots, and you can compete with anybody. And you have a young nucleus, but you got veteran presence. And one of the biggest X factors in Thomas Bryant, where you have a serviceable big man that can actually spread the floor and can defend. He can actually move. I don't know if you were able to see him in preseason, but he looks ready to go, man. He's gonna come. We're not gonna be minus Bam minutes anymore. Like we're gonna be just continuation of
Oh,
that.
I'm excited about Thomas Bryant. You know that.
It's
Ever since we signed him, and I can't wait to see Jaime and those guys. All right, let's do MVP. Who's your MVP this season? Oh, it's tough for you, isn't it? You don't want to say it. It's on your tongue. You want to say it. You already know who's your MVP, but you do not want to admit to it. That's what's happening right now. Come on, just say it. Just say it, dude. Let it go. Oh shoot! I'm nervous. Who is it?
Huh?
Who's your MVP, dude? Now I'm nervous. Like, who's your MVP?
Well, I'm torn between two,
God.
and
Okay.
one of them is in the East,
Okay.
and one of them is in the West.
Yeah.
Where
I was the same way. I mean, I was leaning more to the guy in the West than I was the East, but there was a guy in the East that I kept going to. But I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go with my gut and go with the guy in the West. But go ahead.
It's on this year for him to win it. But if it's the East, unfortunately I'm going to say it, but I think he has a legit shot, depending on how his team functions. Is Jason Tatum? I think he has a shot. I think he has a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the West, I still think this year could be the year that Luka wins it. And obviously now people are gonna go to the straight Giannis and Joel Embiid is set up. If he can get Philadelphia to where it was last year without Harden and that whole situation, he is set up to possibly win back-to-back MVPs. And then you got obviously your year-to-year top three is always going to be Giannis. You're going to have Jokic, and Jokic could arguably win MVP. He was the MVP last year, in my opinion. They just gave it to They just gave it to Embiid. It could have been a little bit more political race. When that's what I hate about this. When people start vouching to be MVPs and to be called MVP, that's one thing that I'll look 2-4, 2-3, 4, 2-3 SGA. Look, I think SGA is probably a more complete player than Luka, and people are going to call me crazy for this, but SGA is top 5 right now. If I have to start a franchise, right now, right this
Alexander,
moment,
right from OKC.
Yeah, Gregor's
Alexander.
I
prefer him over
SGA,
Luka.
man.
That's just me.
He's more complete, man. He's more complete over it.
So you got Jason Tatum or Luka. Who are you leaning to though? Like, who would you be like? No, if I had to make one guy my MVP, it's this guy.
I think it's Luka.
Tatum.
Yeah.
Luka.
No, Luka. Yeah.
Okay. I will
Between them two.
I will say that, all joking aside, Tatum absolutely should be a candidate for MVP. I mean, Drew Holiday's there. Obviously, he could be right. I mean, especially if his team's the number one in the East, he has a very strong opportunity to do it. So no real hate there. All right, Rookie of the Year.
Is that even a contest? The tall guy from San Antonio.
Such a loser.
By the way,
he went with the obvious choice. Not just kidding.
Did you see the 90-second clip of what he did in a minute and 30? Did you see that?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I saw bits of it. I didn't see all of it. No,
Bob, I'm telling you, he is. You know when you would create your player on 2K, and you would put like all the attributes, like, oh, you want to make him super tall and super fast, and like he's not the fastest player in the world, but the ground that he covers, he can literally close out from the other side of the basket. He can cross over in less than 2 steps, and he's blocking your shot.
He's ridiculous, dude.
I'm telling you, like, if the only thing that will prevent him from being great is health, that's it. There's nothing you can do to stop him. You can contain him, and I guarantee you the Heat will contain him with a wall. You can contain him, but you cannot stop that type of. You cannot stop. He just has God given talent and attributes that you can't teach.
Yeah, he's special, dude. He is so special, and it's so good to see Pop smiling again. Pop's all happy. I know he got mad at Kerr, but it's like you know,
that was hilarious. That was hilarious. That was like
he's
Kerr's an asshole.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
everybody knows it's true. Pop doesn't sign an extension if you don't get Victor Wembanyama.
No,
like come on.
So who's your defensive player of the year?
Bam
Adebayo. Okay. All right.
I don't think Bam's gonna be appreciated. It sucks because it happened that he plays here in Miami. If Bam played in New York, if Bam played with the Lakers, he will be recognized as the best. Did you see what he did to Jaren Jackson the other day in a preseason game? And then he posted about it on Instagram. Like he dominated Jaren Jackson, and he blocked Jaren, like 2 of his shots. Like Bam, people think about best defender. I always like to say Bam is the most versatile defender in the NBA, and he is great defending. That to me is what makes it a great defensive player. Bam could defend all 5 positions exceptionally well, above average, excellent, elite level defense.
The only reason why I'll tell you why now, why I did not pick Bam, is for whatever reason. It was not because if he can't do it. You know he wants it, and you know he's one of the better defenders, if not one of the best defenders in the NBA. It just seems like the NBA has something against voting for him as Defensive Player of the Year. He's always not in the conversation. It's just ridiculous. And NFL MVP Tyreek or CMC. I say, well, maybe after yesterday it's different because I was saying co-MVP between Tyreek and Tua. But Tyreek and CMC could be up for conversation. You know what? I'd be absolutely okay with both of them because I'm sick of quarterbacks winning that award. We need to give it to somebody else. So Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey, I'm absolutely down with. Coach of the year. He doesn't remember any coach. He's just trying to remember one. Just kidding.
No, I know all because you got the thing is, and it's funny now you say coach of the year. That's one thing that's going to affect Bobby Milwaukee this year. I think they're going to get it straight, but having a rookie head coach and Terry Stotts just step down, that's to me is one thing that's going to affect people. Spo's not going to win it, and even though he was voted the best coach by NBA GMs, Spo's never going to win a coach of the year. I don't know why, I don't know how, but. I like. Not Tibbs. I think he did a decent job. Bickerstaff, I don't think he's gonna do. Nurse just stepped into the Sixers job. Rookie head coach. Honestly, depending on how it could go in Boston, Mazzulla, if he makes the right adjustments and if he somehow finds a way to shore up that interior defense and that team can continue to produce and stay healthy, he has a shot. And I also like Jack Vaughn from Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn are going to surprise a lot of people. Which, by the way, Ben Simmons is my comeback player of the year. And in the West, I'm going to say I want to see how he handles losing Steven Adams for the whole year because I think that would have been that's a key part of the Grizzlies. And I know you added Marcus Smart. So I'm going to say Taylor Jenkins is going to be the coach of the year in the West.
This doesn't sound dumb. I didn't. Do they have 2 coaches of the year?
No. I was just picking if like my top choices on both, but I think it's only one coach of the year.
Oh, okay. I was going to say because I only have one guy. I only have one guy.
Okay.
You're freaking me out. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't do that one. I mean, I could come up with it, but it's like, damn.
If it's one, I know people are going to say that. For example,
Rick Carlisle,
depending on what the Suns do, Rick Carlisle is with Indiana is a perfect choice to me.
Mikal Bridges is another one. He has a for defensive player of the year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mikal Bridges is Yeah, McCullum just can make a case for defensive player of the year. Absolutely. But okay, if I
Um,
had to pick between those two, I'm gonna go
yeah.
with Taylor Jenkins, the Grizzlies head coach,
Okay.
because I
Why is
want to see
this?
how he handles. Number one, acquiring Marcus Smart. Obviously, that's going to show up your defense and your clubhouse, your locker room. And you're losing John Moran for 20 something games. You lost Steven Adams for the season. Can you weather that storm and continue to have Memphis on that build? Because arguably Memphis last year seemed to be a team destined for greatness. Now you don't re-sign Dylan Brooks. You have John Moran out. You did sign Derrick Rose. You did acquire Marcus Smart. So I want to see how he manages that, and I think he has a possibility. I know people might say,
Okay.
for example, Frank Vogel, depending on what Phoenix does, but Phoenix's talent. Frank Vogel is a defensive specialist, so he's going to use people the right way. He's going to get them an actual sound defense, and they were able to get rid of Aiden, which I never thought they would. So that was a match. That was a divorce waiting to happen from last year when the Pacers signed him to an offer sheet. You knew it was just a matter of time.
Absolutely. Let's see. All right. Okay. For
Oh,
me, MVP.
sorry, dark horse candidate Bobby Monty Williams, Detroit
Y-
Pistons.
yeah, Monte for real. That's a good one.
Sorry, just wanted to throw it
No,
out there. That's my dark
you're-
horse.
okay. For me, MVP, I'm rolling with Nikolai Jokic. I think he's gonna get it again. I was between him and Giannis.
Okay.
Giannis has Damian Lillard. I kept going back and forth. I mean, I'm just not high on Luca, dude. I mean, I like Luca, but it's tough for me. I think Jason Tatum makes a lot of sense. But it's between him and Giannis, but I'm going to roll with Nikolai. I think Nikolai is gonna get it again this year. My rookie of the year is Victor Wembanyama. Absolutely, there's no debate, argument. Scoot Henderson, Jaime, all those guys, love them to death. Jaime, I think he's gonna have a very good year. I think he's gonna be more than just a rookie coming off the bench. He's gonna be an important rotational piece for the Miami Heat. But Wembanyama is gonna be the rookie of the year. Defensive player of the year, Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama is going to be defensive player of the year. He could play any position. He could defend guard. He could defend center. He could defend the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1. That dude is just special. I think he's going to be the rookie of the year and coach and defensive player of the year. I'm saying it now. Giggle all you
Hey,
want.
hey.
Oh, shoot. I didn't ask you this, didn't I? My bad. Sixth man of
What?
the year. Who's your sixth man?
Oof. Man, you know what? Depending on how they do it,
You're going with
I'm
a
gonna
Miami
say
Heat.
I'm huh?
Oh, I said you're going with a Heat. You're going with a Heat guy?
Oh no, not with eight,
Oh,
not with eight.
okay.
No, because right now we're it might be Caleb Martin. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
There's a chance Caleb Martin wins it. I want to see, depending on the success that they have, if they bring Chris Paul off the bench in
Yeah,
in the Wars. But I doubt that. I
I
know
don't think
they
they
might
are.
start him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think eventually that's going to transition. Hey, Emmanuel quickly, and he didn't sign his rookie extension, his max contract, so he's legit. Didn't he finish top 3 last year? And I think he
Yeah, I
finished.
think
I
he
think he was
did.
one of the top 3 finishes last year.
So okay,
Um,
so would you say Chris Paul?
I would say Chris Paul, or
Okay.
man, it said there's so much quality in some of these 6 men. I would have to literally sit. I'm gonna say with Chris Paul because I think
Okay.
eventually they do make the move where they bring him off the bench.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So coach of the year for me, it's gonna be Willie Green of the Pelicans.
Okay,
I think
good
Willie Green.
choice.
Again, health wise, we'll see what happens. But
Hmm.
if they could remain healthy, I think they make some noise, dude. I'm going with Willie here. And then sixth man of the year, Derek White, Celtics. I
Oh,
think Derek
what?
White could.
I think Derek White is starting though.
Yeah, I think Chris Paul's starting too, but I think it could change. It could
Oh
fluctuate.
man,
Drew Holiday,
that's.
Jalen Brown, those, I'm saying I'm gonna roll with Derek Wright. So
And he looks
those are
so much
our
better, by the
predictions.
way. He shaved his hair. You saw that, Bob?
I know, yeah, God bless him.
He finally gave up. Man, his head looks so lopsided with that hair. It's and you know who's the next one that has to shave his head? Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne has a forehead that starts like by his eyes and it ends by like the middle of his head. Have
That's
you
not a
seen Cameron
forehead. You don't
Payne?
got a forehead, you got a 5 head. When you smooth the butt, you go like this. One more random question before we wrap this up.
Go ahead. I like these random questions.
What would be your weapon of choice in a zombie apocalypse?
In a zombie apocalypse?
Yes, if you had to have one weapon of choice, and it's how can I want to make this interesting.
Are you gonna give me a choice? Like, are you gonna give me multiple options, or
No,
I get to choose
I'm
from?
going to take away. I'm going to take away a choice. You can't
Okay.
have a gun.
Oh,
It's not a gun. Has to be
a flame torch? Can I have a
sure flame torch.
Hmm.
A vaccine. That's great. He said a vaccine. That's awesome.
the invisibility?
Yeah, that's right. Invisibility. So would it be a blowtorch?
A blowtorch. You can
Here's
burn
my own.
zombies, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, my only issue is this: does that actually stop them until they finally burn up and die, or
Yeah.
because you got and they're still they're coming after you. Like, oh shit! I want something I could swing. Either a bat,
Something.
like a
Okay.
bat with the barbed wire go Negan, or get like a
Oh, that's
machete,
true.
something like that. You just swing, pop, chop some heads. That's what I would go with. If I can't use a weapon like a gun, I would go that. Or which I don't know how much I could trust how good I would be with it, or like one of those automated bow and arrows. Just,
Oh, okay.
but probably the machete or a bat with some weaponry on there.
I'll use unlimited pepper spray.
Like shit ain't gonna work. Oh man, listen, we are at the hour. We're an hour and a half. I know Alex is burnt. I am as well.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the Heat or Dolphins before we wrap it up, Alex?
Well, he excited for the season to start officially. I'll probably be on for sure tomorrow. I'm gonna try to have fast break with the
Fast
guys. I'll
break,
make sure.
yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So we'll talk a little bit more in depth, but I'm excited with the depth that we do have. I know we're nursing some injuries. It seems to be the story of every year. We start off with some people nicked up, but I think we're gonna weather the storm. I think we're gonna start strong. I do believe I have Tyler Hero averaging 25, 26 points a game easily this year because the way the team is set up. Bam obviously doing his thing. The nucleus itself will progress, will improve. And to all my Dolphin fans, relax. Season is still en route. We're still building. We're still getting healthy. So we knew we were gonna struggle. We didn't know honestly, there was parts of me that were really happy when we were 17 when it was 17-3. I wanted to see how they responded before halftime, and they responded exactly how I thought they would. So going into halftime and in the first drive, you felt there was momentum where you're like, "Wow, I know the Eagles just lost to the Jets, but that was more like the Jets obviously have an elite defense, and some teams are gonna lose." A thing that's concerning for them, Jalen Hurts I think has more turnovers already this year than he had all of last year. So there's some inconsistency offensively that we could have exploited. But I think the Dolphins are going to ride the course this year, go into the bye week on a strong note, and just pull away into the playoffs, being healthy. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So I'm not worried. I'm excited for even Panther season is on again. So it's a fun time in sports. It's a fun time in sports down here where we have two leagues that are starting and um, obviously Dolphins in mid-season form. And please disregard my wife just stating that. She just has to state it, and it's disrespectful. She should be banned from the network, but I love her, so I'm not gonna do that. And
Oh
I have to
hell
put up
no!
with her
I
now
just
when I
saw
go.
that.
Dolphins
Hell no!
suck. I'm
I'm taking
telling
back
you,
my happy anniversary. I don't mean any of that. Screw
me
that.
too. I'm taking that back. Taking everything back. I hate you.
All right, guys. Thanks all so
No, my
much for tuning
Dolphins.
in. Don't come after my Dolphins. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, fins up. We'll see you guys next week.
Oh, I'm a Marlins.
That's right. Well, still fins up to that.
It's up to that, bro.